say, Dillon mentioned this earlier. We've been working on this project for 5 years, but in a lot of ways, I really feel like I've been working on this project my whole life. The comment I made earlier about like trying to make a set that my 10-year-old self would be excited to open and play with really, was the guiding light, and I think a lot of the course through development. So if you're a Final Fantasy fan coming into Magic, we hope that you feel we hope you feel the love and energy and passion from everyone here and many of our other coworkers at Wizards, because we took this product very seriously, and we just can't wait for you to enjoy it.
Yeah, if anyone's going to be at MagicCon Vegas, I want to play some games. It's going to be out. Let's play together. That'd be so fun.
We'll all be there.
It's going to be awesome.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And then when you ask a question, I'll just ask you to say your name and what outlet you're writing for, or if you're a freelancer or whatever. Then we'll get to your question. Cool?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Hey, my name is Gavin Verhey. I'm a principal game designer on Magic the Gathering, because I designed what those cardboard rectangles do, and I was the lead game designer on Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy.
I'm Zakeel Gordon. I'm executive producer for Tabletop Magic, and I was the product architect of Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy.
I'm Daniel Holt. Like Gavin, I'm a senior game designer on
The floor. Go for it.
Being that it is your 5th or 6th Universe Beyond product coming out, what mistakes or challenges are you hoping to overcome with this set that you had previously?
And can you also say your name and outlet?
Oh, Emmanuel from Nerd Caliber.
Yeah, I'll say from the design perspective, every set we make, we learn more, right? You think of look at Magic's out a 30+ year history now, and we've learned so much since the early days. And when we started Universes Beyond, we were still kind of figuring out how to approach different pieces of it, and now that we've done it several times, we've learned a lot more. I'll kick it over to Dillon in a second to talk about the creative and what we learned, but from like a design perspective, Final Fantasy is a game, I'll give you one example. Final Fantasy is a game with a lot of very complex stories, a lot of very complex characters. Trying to make any one character show off the totality of their story is an impossible task, right? Because every character will go through huge transformations. So one of the things that we really focus on for this set that I think is an improvement over some previous Universes Beyond choices was what I call the snapshot model, where we take a character, kind of take a snapshot of them in time, and that is what the card is based on, right? So it's not trying to encompass all of what Cloud has ever done in the entire story of Final Fantasy VII. It's, here's a picture of where he is at this moment, here's the story that this card is telling at this exact moment, right? And so that was something we focused on that I think helped hone our cards in a little more when figuring out the color identities and the mechanics. So that's one of the small things we did on the design side, but I know on the creative side, there was a ton of iteration that's happened over the course of Universes Beyond.
Yeah, so we've learned a lot with Universes Beyond, mostly about what fans are looking for when they see their favorite IP somewhere else and what they respond well to, what they have to see, what like they really, really want to see. And so part of the amazing pleasure of Final Fantasy was that we had a wide berth of content to select from. So it wasn't so focused that if we missed, any one thing, that it would be like a missing ingredient completely. We had the luxury, almost the decadence of choice with how many things we had to fit in. So in solving the maybe if we only have 100 cards for a commander deck and a specific faction, it's really tightly focused. So anything out that, even if it's like something someone expects, if it doesn't fit the theme or the colors, like previously we just had to cut it. Since we get a full set and a lot of space to explore with the commander decks, we took some time to really just play and understand exactly what we wanted. We had a wider choice of options, and using the snapshot method, I think we were able to focus on what makes all these characters really, really special once or twice instead of going really deep 5 or 6 or 7 times, and then opened up more space in the set for all the other things that people want to see, all the whimsical creatures, all the cool monsters, all the epic items, so that way more people could see things that they totally expected to see. Of course, in doing that, it did introduce new challenges that that we had to eventually solve, but it's certainly, from the creative perspective, everything we learned up to this point came into full motion, especially this is Universes Beyond first standard legal set. This is kind of like a debut of all right, this is now what we're about, here's everything we've learned, and hopefully that is on full display when it releases.
Yeah, and speaking specifically from the commander side, we did something new here where we treated each deck as almost its own Universes Beyond. This is Final Fantasy 6, 7, 10, and 14. If you pick up that deck, it's keeping the narrative within that deck. Previous Universes Beyond kind of captured the whole IP within the 4 decks, 5 decks, however many. This one was very working with Dillon to make sure we had reprints and new cards showing off all those tiers that he mentioned of creative. but also working with Gavin on the main set to make sure we're hitting those tier 1 characters the multiple times, getting those snapshot moments across the thing. So this was just where Commander really got to thrive.
And I'll also say at the product level, one of the things that makes this set special is that Square Enix themselves were very involved in the development. So we went, I think, to Japan 5 different times for play tests, for world building sessions. They were heavily involved in the art process. And there's several employees there that, you know, as we're employees for Magic who love Final Fantasy, there are several employees over there that are Final Fantasy fans that love Magic. So just being able to go back and forth with a partner that was willing to give us feedback, where we'd send them a list of 10 ideas and they would say, you know, these 7 are the ones that we think are the best fit for the character, and, you know, we tweak these 3. And it just led to a very authentic representation of like what the best execution of bringing the 2 IPs together could result in. And I think that you know, Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy is the best example of that so far.
Since you folks were also crunch playing Final Fantasy 16 to figure out cards and card game design mechanics as well, were you also crunch playing FF14 with the different expansions the past few years as well?
I'll start.
Yeah, you see it.
I gave that in during the presentation when I started
Are there
leading.
any differences between that? Sorry.
Yeah.
Are there any differences between doing, you know, a live service and involved versus, you know, when 16 is done, it's done?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I mentioned in the panel, I did not play Final Fantasy 14 before starting this project, and then I dove really deep into it. I was playing it every day at lunch, after work. I was playing with my friend. We went through 200 hours within like the span of a month, and I still didn't get through all of it. I covered a good chunk, but then you have people in the building like Dillon, who's thankfully our narrative lead, who has been playing it since the beginning, is an active user. So we had those subject matter experts in the building, both on the team and off the team, that we just kept relying on for things like that.
But it was really helpful though, because I've been playing Final Fantasy 14 since its original launch and then its relaunch in its open beta of A Realm Reborn. There's so much that I remember and lovingly remember, and over time that have just kind of faded into history because the new content's coming out. So I have an opinion about what the latest thing is because I'm doing it actively. But Daniel, who's catching up, is like, I just played this amazing story in Heavensward that came out 8 years ago. And it was great because it reminded us that there are players right now who are only at that part in 14, so they should see something that they should really fall in love with if that's the only part of the game they got to. So it really kind of worked out as like the old timer, and then, you know, coming to the scene of finding that handshake between each of the expansions. So I wouldn't call myself grinding. I was just like playing like I normally do. It just worked out that I'm a huge fan, by the way. Like I just play all these naturally. And then when we were working together, we were able to kind of fill in those gaps with each other.
What's your name and outlet?
Patrick Klein, Boss Rush Network. How did this collaboration come to be, and what are your thoughts about like creating expansions on future titles of Final Fantasy, or even going into the Final Fantasy universe with some of the spin-offs?
Yeah, so this collaboration kicked off, I think, mid-pandemic 2020. You know, we have business development division, and, you know, again, I had said some folks on the Square Enix side are fans of Magic, and they were aware, as well as just being in the gaming industry. We made that connection, you know, very early on. I think once Universes Beyond really got kicked off with some of our early secret
Content, right? Think about 16 games. If you took it approachable, and while I love stuff like Mystic Quest and Tactics, and I'm a Crystal Chronicles guy myself, spent a lot of hours with Crystal Chronicles, at some point it's got to draw the line. And so the set, we tried to do the best job we could to pay off all 16 games. And while we couldn't even then get everybody in, like there's still some characters left on the cutting room floor, we were able to do a much more, like, I think, authentic and happy job that would make those fans happy, as opposed to like, well, there's one Tactics card in the set, would that make you any happier? It probably might make you madder, right? Well, I want all my cards. So, you know, I am pretty happy where we're going on this one.
Name and outlet?
My name's Dio. I'm from All Ages of Geek. This is a two-part question. The first one is, I'm brand new to Magic the Gathering, so my general question is, my general question is like, what's like a good way to like get people that have never played it before into it, like myself? And like, would you say like, and for the second part is,
Really crying. My fiance's worried about me. It just hits.
So, what are you guys excited about for people, either experienced Final Fantasy players or Magic Gathering players or new players in general to either Final Fantasy or Magic? What are you guys excited for people to see the most?
What aren't we excited about? It's tough. I mean, I think it's important to keep in your mind. I know we mentioned this a little bit earlier, but we've been working on this for like 4 years, and we've been thinking about it every day and chatting, and the build up to this moment that we're here right now has been like this very long journey, and it's been truly an amazing team. We've all got to work together on making this. And we would be chatting at all hours of the day, weekends, whatever, just because we were excited about the project we were working on. So, I mean, I could say so many things. I'm excited for people to draft it. The other day we got to draft our first ever time we got physical booster packs in the office. We canceled all of our meetings, like everything else started, and we just locked ourselves in a room and we got to draft for the very first time. We were smiling and laughing and making jokes about the card names and the animations and all this stuff, or being like, I remember we had to change this art or whatever, right? You know, like all this stuff. It was incredible. I'm excited for folks to try it out in standard. This is the first Universes Beyond set to ever be legal in all formats, and we built a lot of really cool standard decks with this set. And I am stoked for folks to try it. Especially the thing that we did that we've never done before is we knew a lot of people would want to play a lot of Final Fantasy cards. Like if you're a Final Fantasy fan coming into Magic, you might want to play with a lot of FF cards. So we built some archetypes into the set that we think will be decent in standard. It'll need a couple other cards from here and there, but have a core of Final Fantasy cards. And I'm really curious to see if those do anything, right? Yeah. I can't wait for the people to find those deep cuts that you were talking about. The internet threads, like, oh my gosh, did you see this reference? Like literally, my favorite thing, we've been sharing these, by the way, for like months. We'll show off a card, and there'll be a Reddit thread. And my favorite thing is when it's like, someone who like doesn't know Final Fantasy, like, I don't understand what's going on here. Cue 3-paragraph description of the story behind that exact moment, right? Like the pure unadulterated joy that fans have in telling people about what they've experienced in these games is so high. So like, what are we excited about? It's like everything. It's like I want people to learn about Final Fantasy 2. I want people to play with Sephiroth. I want to see the bird deck pop off. I want you to find some weird little thing that you've never seen in your life, and you've been playing Final Fantasy for 15 years, and you're like, what the heck is this? I'm excited about it all, and that is the magic of Final Fantasy.
Well, it's really hard to follow that.
I know.
But I will piggyback off of that. Like you mentioned those deep cuts. Like behind the curtains, obviously we can't say anything that hasn't been shown. For the Final Fantasy Commander decks, there are 400 cards there. We've shown about 12 of them, 12 cards from those decks, and we've gone so deep in them. I am so excited for fans to see those story moments that they think, oh, they're not going to be that way. They did it. We talked about the Secret Rendezvous scene earlier. Just like there's so much joy packed into those, and I also want to see people taking those legends and building new commander decks. Obviously, you have the face commanders that we've been testing and playing all the time, but people might take their favorite character out of that and build a whole new deck that we haven't even thought about. People mentioned they built around Hildebrand. They're like, oh, I'm going to put this with Luris from Ikoria and as my companion, and it's going to be a sweet deck. I'm like, I didn't even think about that. That's amazing. And I want to see moments like that.
Right.
For me, because everything that we've said here is true, for me, the thing that I'm most excited about is for the Final Fantasy fan who has always been tiptoeing on the edge of Magic, being like, my friends play it, and like, you know, I know about it, but like, I've never really tried. It seems like really hard and complicated, and like, you know, someone like me isn't really like, I don't really fit into like the scene, and my job is to tell you, you are invited to this game. Not only are you invited, I will personally open the door for you and find you a seat and say, this is for you, you get to play, this set was made for you, we came to you, and I'm gonna put it in your hands and say, like, this is for you. Enjoy it, tell your friends who are gonna enjoy it, and then make it your own game. Take your favorite game and play your own games. Make up your own games at home. You know, go to Standard and have a great time. Play Commander with your buddies, have a great time. Make up your own rules. Come up with your own emergent systems for how you want to recreate an RPG battle system with your favorite legend. That sounds amazing. I just want you to know that this was made for you. And you were in the design room with us every single step of the way. So please try it out. Please have fun. And please just... I almost started tearing up. Please enjoy yourselves.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm most excited for Jumbo Cactar to kill people. That card is sweet.
Bring on Zakeel.
That's right.
Yes.
I got time for one or two more. You ready? Go for it.
Are Vincent and Go-Go. So you will find both of them in the set for Final Fantasy. We remember.
You don't have to
They might be somewhere in the box of Commander. You find them.
So you guys talk so passionately about this project. I want to know, is there a favorite card that you guys love? And can you explain why?
Yeah.
That we've revealed so far.
That you revealed so far, yes, of course.
Jumbo Cactar.
He's on the train.
I'll say mine, and I'll also give it to Uzer that she can yell at me later for. I'm going to say Tidus of the Final Fantasy X Commander deck, but there is a card not revealed yet that I'm still not going to reveal, but it captures that pivotal moment that Yuna makes in the story. There's a very special scene that I think everyone who's played Final Fantasy X halfway through knows this story and moment, and I got to make a new card for that reflected that, and I think that's my favorite card.
Nice.
I'd say for me, since we talked about it today and I got to talk about it at length, it would be Kane Highwind. Gavin mentioned it during the panel, but it was the first card that I've ever designed, like mechanically speaking. Sent it over to Gavin. He was like, stamped. Let's go. And so, just because it's my favorite Final Fantasy, he's one of my favorite characters. He's just so cool. It captures a very complicated story, and for me, it's like the apotheosis of what narrative game design gets to be in Magic. That card just kind of ticks all the boxes. And even if I wasn't a part of this project, and Gavin just made it, and I wasn't on this team, I'd lose my mind. Like, no way. So I think that's my favorite card that we've revealed so far.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been sitting here trying to figure out, like, you know, which of my 200 children I feel like most choosing. But I think I'll go with the one at this moment that I think best embodies the whole set and the whole process, which is Sid. So the thing about Sid is there's a Sid in every Final Fantasy game but Final Fantasy 1. And we were trying to figure out how to represent them in the set or whatever. And I think nothing explains the process of the set better. And I was talking with Zakeel about this, and I was like, how are we gonna choose? Gotta figure this out. And Zakeel's like, why don't we just do all 16? You know, or all 15. Why don't we do all 15? Why not? And I was like, oh, that's great. And so, you know, I feel like basically this is the set I've worked on where everything I could possibly want, I got in here. The rule of cool, absolutely, right? It's like, Zakeel's like, it sounds sick, it sounds cool, let's just do it. So in the set, there are 15 Sids that are all mechanically the same, but have unique art from their game. And that is just like us being like, it's a love letter to the fans. It is actually like one of the most top requested things on the internet since we even previewed the set, right? So I'm so glad we got it in there. People were like, I hope they do this. And then we literally did it today, and people got super excited. And it really embodies like how much we care working with each other. Just like, hey, you want that, let's make that happen for you. And I think it's really cool, and can't wait for people to collect as many of them as they can.
And also, just final anecdote on that, it really helped out because I ran a poll in the office of like, which Sid should be our Sid? And I sent it to every Final Fantasy fan in the office, and I got the most unhelpful data of all time because it was just basically a tie across like all of my my spreadsheet bars were just like beep 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 beep. Like everyone just gave me such conflicting answers because everyone wanted to see their own favorite Sid. So I remember having a conversation because you had asked me a while like, who are we gonna put on the art? And I was like, I have no idea. And then I came up to you and I was like, I still have no idea what I'm doing over here right now. So Zakeel came in, totally saved the day, and it was the right call, right? Because that told us at the time that this isn't like people don't know what they want. It's they know exactly what they want. They want their Sid.
Imagine if we only made it.
No.
Really
This would be a different conversation. Everybody would be like, where's my Sid?
Yeah, right. And I feel like it just embodies the set in so many ways. Like another thing we did with the set is, as we've talked about, Final Fantasy is huge, 16 games to cover, so much stuff. At one point I asked Zakeel, like, can I make the set bigger? Can I just put more Magic cards in the set? And I need them to be able to cover as many characters as possible. And Zakeel was like, fire it off, let's do it, right? So it is, the total set size is strange. It is larger than a normal Magic set, and we just made it the size we thought we needed to be able to encompass the stuff that we wanted to be able to create. So it's very cool.
Thank you.
Depicted.